Hey YouTube, hey, it's your boy the author here. I'm gonna make a quick video in response to the Julien Blanc's CNN leaked interview. For those of you who don't know, Julien Blanc is a PUA or a pickup artist. I think he's been a leader of that movement since 2005, or one of the leaders of that movement, teaching guys how to be more effective when approaching women. And he was interviewed. He got into some type of scrutiny where he had a pickup routine where he put his hands around a woman's throat in a pickup routine. And I think it was on his site. People got wind of it, and he caught a lot of flack for it. He has a business, I think he's a part of Love Systems or something like that, and that's a business where it teaches guys how to become better with women. And so as a result of his one routine, he was banned from Australia, I think a few other countries in Europe. So I think he had a CNN interview that was leaked, and a correspondent interviewed him. It was his time to, I don't know if he was gonna come clean. I think it was his turn to finally get his word out about what actually happened. But I felt it turned into something where it just was a way to further execute him and axe up his image, and he pretty much did nothing to defend himself. So I want to get into this real quick. Watched the interview, I think about a month ago. I commented on it. I got a few likes for my comment. I just want to just go into more of how I feel. This is why I made this video. So, or why I'm making this video. So to go through the video quite briefly, or to give you some background information, yes, I'm into PUA. I just got into PUA. I didn't just get into PUA, but I first stumbled upon the community back in 2004. I purchased this program from a pickup artist. He was a pickup artist back then. I think now he's a self-help coach. But that was David D'Angelo. And he had this series called Double Your Dating. I got it on a whim. I was just interested. This is when the internet was just becoming big. Back when MySpace was just starting to really branch out, kind of before the Facebook got huge. I got the program. I was impressed by the program, got a few videos, and David D'Angelo introduced the world to a lot of other pickup artists. He introduced pickup artists to the world. You know, this is one of the first times, I think, where the people had, one of the first times people were getting introduced to the pickup community and getting to see the heads of that community. I think he had Mystery on this show, Neil Strauss, who ended up coming out with the book The Game 2 years later. And I think, and this was also before the book The Game came out, and it was before the VH1 show The Pickup Artist finally came out. So he was one of the first who really opened up the community to the rest of the world. So I received the cassette, and I think the way I took it was a way for a man to approach a woman, or for men to approach women. But to me personally, it was more about it being a movement. It was coming out of the ashes of the feminist movement, which has helped women in a lot of ways become professionals, but it has created a lot of monster women. I mean, with so I'll get into that in a second. But to get back to the video, this all how it ties in. The interviewee, or the interviewer, who interviewed Julien, asked some questions. He said, "Well, what do you think? What about your site?" He said, "I noticed you're visibly nervous." And Julien came off, and Julien looked very rattled even before the interview started. He said, "First of all, I'd like to apologize for any way that I might have offended people." And it's like, well, I didn't think it was any need for that, because most women are going to find the PUA community just offensive in itself. You don't have to do anything. Because for a man to have the balls to approach a woman that he doesn't know is crazy, right? You know, so you're supposed to be the guy with his head down saying, hey, how you doing, ma'am? And, you know, oh, I'm sorry that I offend you. You know, so with the society, I think I came from Generation X. I was the first generation that produced boys being raised in single-parent homes without the father. So, you know, in Generation Y is the same thing. You know, some of these guys in Generation Y want to be there for the kids, but the women want to prove that they can raise the kids on their own, so they'll take the kid and go somewhere else, just like the situation with a family member of mine. The girl moved away to another city after she had the baby. And Generation Z is going to be even worse. So, my whole thing is, you know, Julien apologized, which I don't think he should. He should have explained the situation, because most people are angry. They don't understand. Either you understand or you don't. I can explain it to you, you know, but I don't really apologize. I don't feel I was doing anything wrong. But anyway, the guy tells Julien, the interviewer tells Julien, well, we live in a society that constantly battles trying to find ways to help men be more respectful towards women, you know, and we're dealing with this constantly, with the men disrespecting women and not know how to treat women. How do you feel that your products, or how do you feel that this incident with you choking women, or the stuff on your site, the stuff you teach the men, how do you think you're helping the situation where we're trying to get guys to be more respectful towards women? Don't you think your materials are harming that process? And it's like, I think the interviewer is reading from the wrong playbook. First of all, living in a society that's teaching, living in a society where men are being abusive to women. He must be talking about the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Maybe the 30s and 40s and 50s. For the past 40 years, we've had women, young girls being raised by the feminist philosophy. Okay, women have been in the driver's seat. Most of the abuse in relationships and marriages are coming from women. Okay, a lot of guys aren't reporting their abuse because they're in a lose-lose situation. If they admit they're being beat by a woman as a man, then they're ostracized, they're looked at as a wimp. However, if they decide to retaliate or hit the woman back, they can be arrested. So they're in a lose-lose. And a lot of the judges and prosecutors are mama's boys. You know, my generation now are some of the judges and prosecutors. They bow down to women. We're in a culture where men are bowing down to just about any woman because she can have a baby. Just bowing down to her. Whether she's good, bad, whether she washes her ass, whatever. She's a woman, you bow down to her, you worship her. That's the kind of, you know, society that, you know, exists now. And he's telling Julien that we're living in a society, don't you think that you should be trying to help? Well, first off, PUA, I think, is a part of a men's movement, a well-needed men's movement, where men should be able to stand up to women. Men are getting abused in relationships and marriages, going out in daily life, having to mail your letters or having to go out and purchase your food. I mean, men are expected these days to put up with a woman's shit, even if they don't even know her. You know, so it's ridiculous. And for the interviewer to bring that up, Julien didn't defend himself properly, stating that, well, man, you're in the wrong times. PUA is a part of a men's movement, a much-needed men's movement, where guys are standing up against women. And if a guy wants to approach a woman that he thinks is cute, then he should be able to do so, or a woman he finds attractive. I mean, I used to work at a car dealership. I have guys all the time coming in saying they can afford that car, they like that car. But you know what my wife would say if I purchased that car? She would tell me, you better take that shit back before I smack you upside the head. And they laughed about that. But that they don't even realize what they're saying. That's bad. I mean, that means that you as a guy have no balls in your household. And if you don't have any balls in your household, you can't have any balls in your community. I mean, you can't even purchase a vehicle and have your wife say, "Oh, honey, that's a nice car." You know, you can't do anything without your wife's approval. It's almost like these guys are being raised in single-parent homes where they're bullied by women. A lot of times, these are disgruntled women who had a breakup with their. Sometimes they're not even married to the guy they had a baby with, so they're bitter women. They're telling a kid that the father isn't shit, so they're getting bullied as young boys. Then they become men. Then they marry the same type of woman that was like their mother, so they're being bullied in marriage and relationships too. So how can you ever self-actualize as a man when your whole entire life you've been bullied by women? He didn't bring this up. Okay. The interviewer's kicking him around about his side, and Julien said, "Well, actually, I'm teaching guys how to be more extroverted. A lot of the guys were introverted." He said, "I myself was once introverted, and me myself, I was also at one point introverted, and I think PUA helped me tremendously to become extroverted." Like I say, every guy who gets into PUA isn't going to become a big pickup artist like David Lyons or Carlos Zuma, but if it just helps you become or move from introvert to even ambivert, I mean, that's great. You need your social skill. You know, it may not even help you move to extrovert, but if you get anything out of it that's positive, I think that's a good thing. And that's what he was saying, and then the interviewer just trashed him. "Well, an extroverted guy who wants to learn these things, you know, you should put him in it, and he needs help. Why would anybody want to try the stuff that you're talking about? Choking women." And it's like this guy, you know, Julien should have told this guy, "Well, hey, have you ever heard of anything called S&M? We live in a society today that's a lot more sexually free. Didn't 50 Shades of Grey come out on Valentine's Day? Okay, have you ever heard of S&M? Some women and men just get off sexually. Only way they can orgasm is through physical abuse. I repeat, the only way some men or women can get off is through physical abuse." So it's just like, well, no, he's not doing this to all women, but I mean, he is not addressing 2015. I think he's talking from a 1930s. The interviewer was talking through a 1930s, 40s, or 50s time frame. You know, and when Julien had this woman by her neck in this routine, he had her very gently. It wasn't like he was strangling a woman, but they blew the whole thing out of proportion. But to make a long story short, I mean, I didn't like the interview. Towards the end, Julien, it's almost like he forgot what he was going to say. He froze up. He looked like at one point in the interview toward the end that he wanted to cry. He forgot what he wanted to say. He looked really, really rattled. I mean, whether he was playing, I don't think he was playing, because he looked like, you know, like he was being turned back into the introverted boy that he once was. And he made himself look bad. He made PUA look bad. Not just the gurus and the coaches and the students, but the men who've been looking for some type of outlet or looking for a community that can help them become more of a man, because men are walking around here knowing something is wrong. But I don't know how to correct it as far as self-actualizing myself. How do I become a man? You know, I mean, my race, young boys are dying all the time because they don't have a clue. They think walking around with a gun makes them a man. They don't know, how to become a man. They know one day they're going to have to be one, but they don't know what to do. So I just think that PUA is a lot more than, my time is coming to a close, but I think PUA is a lot more than just getting to a woman's pants to stand up to the feminist movement, which is creating a lot of female monsters. But anyway, give me your take on it. Let me know what you think, and post your comments in the comment section. Until next time, this is the author, out.